doesn't burn. And so you use these, a lot of times you'll see these as standard tools in the Western firefighters. So the wildland firefighters will use these rather than a regular rake because they're a lot more versatile, a lot more hardy. But they are really good if you need to cut away brush and things like that.
And then regular rakes are mostly used for just dragging the fire. So once you get the grasses going, you can just spread it with the rake. What's better for that is drip torch. It's got a mixture of diesel and gasoline, and so it burns easily, but it burns long. The more diesel you put in it, the longer it burns, the more gas, the more easily it burns. And at this temperature, what did you say the rate is?
We're using about a 60-40 diesel to regular gas mix. If it gets warmer, you put in a little bit more diesel because you want it to burn slowly. You don't want it to just flare up and vanish right away. Otherwise, it's going to burn before it gets the prairie vegetation going. So you kind of want it to stick a little bit as it burns, and then it starts your fire.
Kind of like napalm.
Kind of. Yeah. And these are really nice because it allows you to make a good line all at one time, and especially if you don't have a lot of wind, if your fuel isn't that good, the bigger the area that you have burning all at once, the hotter it gets, the more it dries out the material, and it sort of keeps the burn going even more and more. And so oftentimes when you're doing larger areas, you want to be able to spread the fire much more quickly than you can do with just a rake. But if you're doing small areas, you can drag the fire around with the rake. You just use the rake, get a bundle of grass in it, light it on fire, and drag it along, and it'll start up everything that you're coming across. You can also use rakes for putting out fire. Fire can't burn if it's got nothing to burn. So if you go and pull the grass that's on fire out of the rest of the fire with the rake, it'll stop the fire from moving. So rakes are sort of the all-purpose tool. You can start or stop fire with.
We made the mistake one year of buying rakes with plastic handles, and they lasted about half an hour, and the heads just fell right off.
Now brooms, I don't know why. Anytime you see real, structural firefighters showing up for a wildland burn, they show up with brooms. I have no idea why. I've never figured out why they are even slightly useful. I mean, I guess you could get it wet and use it kind of like a flapper, maybe? I don't know, but I have no use for brooms.
I don't either.
They always, people always think you need them. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of them.
Yep.
So we got talked into it. This little stop here lets more or less air in, so that regulates your flow. If it's coming out too fast, you just tighten it up a little bit. It'll drip out more slowly.
One other thing we have is the backpack sprayer, and it's just a simple hand pump sprayer, so you'll notice it's extended right now. If you were to squeeze that hand back into the handle, it would spray water out. And typically you use these not to put fire out, but if you are working and you need to kind of get the fire so it's not as hot, you give it a spray with that, it cools it down, and then the people with the flappers come in and put it out. So usually we don't have as much water as we'd like, so you don't use the water to really try to put the fire out. It is useful, however, once we're done, if there's something that's smoldering, you go in and